Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on the Upwave Customer Showcase Series. In today's showcase, we are joined by Jenn Strapp from Paramount. Jenn is the VP of Audience Impact and Intelligence at Paramount, and we are very excited to have this conversation with her today. Jenn, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited for this conversation. So let's kick it off. And we'll start perhaps naturally with the topic that it seems every advertiser is talking about, which is outcomes. And we hear advertisers bucket outcomes in three types: brand outcomes, behavioral outcomes, and business outcomes. And we also hear more and more from advertisers that outcome-based measurement is absolutely necessary to justify their media investments. Is that similar to what you're hearing?
Yeah, so we are hearing the exact same story from our clients. At Paramount, we really believe that television content helps to drive outcomes. So we're investing in providing outcomes reporting for all of our clients and all campaigns going forward that run on our properties. But to me, in order to impact the mind, you have to impact the heart first. So if you're looking at the top of the marketing funnel, right, we're talking about impacting interest and awareness. Consumers are rarely purchasing something that they have no perception of or sentiment towards in one way or another. So we also have to understand how advertising impacts those brand attitudes to ultimately drive those brand behaviors. And that's what we look to Upwave to help us to do.
That's great. I totally agree. You have to start by changing the hearts and minds. So you mentioned these measurement requests from advertisers. Is the volume of these measurement requests increasing?
The volume is increasing exponentially. So we here have thresholds in place for running custom brand lift studies for our clients, and we're still seeing a significant increase in the number of requests year over year. So this year alone through June, we've already run 185 effectiveness studies for our clients
Wow.
just in this first half of the year. And last year we did 138 for the full year. So you can see how the requests and the demand for it is really increasing. And we're already starting to receive requests for the 24-25 upfront while our
Wow.
sellers are in negotiations. Yeah, and I've never seen so many come in at one time. So to me, that really just further proves the importance of brand perception and brand building to our clients.
Yeah, that's incredible. And how do you tackle this high volume of ask?
With a lot of patience. But like everybody, I think we're looking at the full funnel and measuring where the brand is looking to see impact. So we do everything from brand lift, like we do with you guys at Upwave, to measuring direct sales outcomes, visitation, brand actions. And we're also in the process of standing up our always on attribution product, which is going to allow our clients to see how they're performing in the Paramount environment throughout their campaign. So we're offering full transparency to help prove that what we say at Paramount is true, that Paramount is performance.
That's great. Love that phrase. And how
Yeah.
do you think about not just measuring the appropriate type of outcome, but optimizing the campaign to that outcome?
Yeah. So in the large amount of studies that we've done over time, we've learned a lot about how media works to impact these different perceptions and behaviors. So what we do is we really make our IP work for our clients. So in addition to just the sheer power of the Paramount environment, we have an amazing marketing team in our Paramount Brand Studio who utilizes our talent, our content, our creative to really create custom branded content, influencer content, integrations into our shows and tentpole events like VMAs and the Grammys. So when you're partnering with our content as an advertiser, you're also helping to create culture. And that cultural impact is really what moves the needle on brand perception, which, as we talked about, is what ultimately drives those outcomes.
That's great. Yeah, I know advertisers want the campaign to have the right content, the right creative unit, even the right ad format. So
Yep.
how do you think about those other types of optimizations? We partnered, I know, recently to measure some creative innovations from Paramount, like new ad formats such as pause ads. So can you talk about
Yep.
some of those innovative units that Paramount is now offering to advertisers?
Yeah, so that's a great question because I love talking about that. So we're doing a lot of innovation in the advertising space. We've always been innovating in the linear space for a long time, but CTV allows us a lot of new opportunities and creative opportunities in the way that we're presenting advertising content to our viewers. So, as you mentioned, we've been testing pause ads, which, if you don't know, is an ad that pops up when you hit pause on the content that you're watching. It's usually related to the fact that you pause the content in the creative. We're featuring double box ads, which essentially is like a picture in picture. If you imagine like an old school TV.
Yeah,
We have shoppable ads, we have QR codes, interactive units, you name it, like we're willing to try it. So we're really excited to keep bringing advertisers new opportunities to partner with us in ways that our advertisers wouldn't expect necessarily.
I love that. So to say more about that, when you test these new ad formats with a measurement partner like Upwave, how specifically is that
Yeah.
data being used to help the campaign and improve the campaign?
So I love testing these types of units because they're different, and we see really amazing results with them. People are noticing them more. They take more interest in the brand because they're seeing them really speak to them differently than they're used to. And again, they allow for us to be creative in the messaging, the format, and they catch their attention much more differently than they have before. So we have a bunch of these that we've tested with you, and we utilize them as case studies so that we can sell a lot more of them going forward.
I love that. Well, let's dive into some of those case studies for our audience
Yeah.
to speak to some specifics. So I know we partnered recently to measure a campaign for a leading grocery chain. Can you talk about the learnings from that campaign?
Yeah, so we tested one, as you just mentioned, with a big grocer. The results were out of control. So we look at a bunch of different brand lift metrics, and there was a 102% increase in brand
Wow.
preference, which is, yeah, that's gigantic, especially for a brand that is established and people know, and a 99% lift in purchase intent. Like, that's
Yeah.
massive.
Wow.
So the messaging and the format of the ad being different, again, from what people expect, really helped to capture attention in amazing ways. And I think the proof is right there in the results.
Yeah, that's great. And I know that wasn't just a one-off success. A health and beauty brand recently was measured by Upwave. Can you talk about that campaign?
Yeah, so we do a lot of brand lift studies with you guys as well for brands that run on Paramount Plus or Pluto TV, that fall more into kind of the traditional type of an ad model, 30-second, 15-second spots. And our CTV platforms generate such an immersive viewing experience because you're going there for that content. You're seeking out the content, and so you're really immersed in the content as well as the ads that run within it. So we did test out a personal care brand. We saw, again, another really well-established brand. We saw double-digit growth in all the brand lift metrics that we tested. So it was plus 21 points on awareness. Again, for such a big brand, 21% point lift on brand consideration. So all of these campaigns that we're running are really successful when we run them through the Upwave platform.
That's great. And I'd love to share one more example. It's not just the quote unquote traditional TV advertisers like
Yeah.
this example you mentioned. Even a design software company recently used Paramount and Upwave. Can you share that example?
Yeah. So one of the nice things about our CTV platforms too is that we're getting the big advertisers and the smaller advertisers that are a little less well known. So we did work with a design software company that right now is all out there. I see ads for them all the time. They are really working to establish their brand name. So they also ran some ad units on our CTV channels. They saw a 29% increase in familiarity, 22% lift in consideration. So I think both these established and newer brands are really reaping the benefits of partnering with us.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think the data supports that case. So to wrap this chat, Jen, I'd love you to share anything that you think advertisers should know besides what we covered about Paramount's offerings and your brand building power.
Yeah. So at Paramount, we always pride ourselves in having content for everyone from kids all the way up to their grandparents. And the content is powerful and there's a lot of nostalgia here. So we are really putting it all on the line with our attribution product that we're rolling out this fall. Because we see that when there's passion for our content, there's passion for the brands that align themselves with that content. We've seen it time and time again with the work that we've done with you and continue to do. So Paramount, again, is a place for everyone. We've got something for everybody here.
I love that. On the content side and on the advertiser side. That's great to see.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Jen, for joining us. Really appreciate this conversation. I know our audience will appreciate hearing these examples and the latest from Paramount. So thank you. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon, Jen.
Thank you.